What am I saying? There is no profit in training your kids abroad. Pay attention. There is no profit in training your kids abroad. There is no gain in carrying your children from Nigeria to abroad. If you don't want to face reality, you get back up.
How you doing for our English audience? How are you, sir?
I'm good, man.
Yeah, you know, we're talking about our African American parents,
Right.
who want that their children to go home, and you said something. So, what is your take on that?
Well, my take is, you can imagine us that have been here decades, hardly for us to decide to go home and stay. I mean, we can go home, visit, and come back here. That's just the way it is. But the kids, I'm very, very sure they're not going back there. They will not. They are here. They are born here. They are raised here. This is their place.
So they mentioned the billions and multi-millions we are spending to build mansions in the villages and cities, because most people here, they are working, they are not taking off, they are not taking day in, day out. Every of the money they make, they go invest in Africa. So what is your take on those? We hardly go there to live.
Yeah, we need those houses for us, not for the children. The children are not coming there to join you there. This is just the way we are brought up. We like to have something showing for us. It's not for your children, it's for you. Because if you think those children will go there and stay in that house, I don't know about your children. Maybe you're lucky, but in it taking, I'm not sure they're going to go back there and stay.
Hello guys, one of our African brothers have given a strong message to Africans in diaspora that have children there. You know what I mean? And he said there's no profit, and I'm quoting him, there's no profit in training your children abroad. You know, there's no profit in raising them in abroad. It doesn't care anywhere in abroad, whether it's China or America or Europe, anywhere in abroad except Africa. And you know, there's a you know, people might be divided opinion in what he's talking about, you know, because when you look at things in the world, there's always a nuance to things. You know, you can't just said like things are not always black and white. You know, there's a gray area where you can see things. You know what I mean? That's why before you come out to make this kind of statement, you have to, you know, you have to be cautious. You know what I mean? And I understand where he's coming from. You know what I mean? Because when you look at statistics, you know, people think that if you, especially some Africans, some of them are stricken by poverty in Africa, caused by, you know, politicians as well. You know, it's always bad governance that, you know, makes things worse, you know, in Africa. And some people, you know, they're desperate to bring their children, to have their children abroad and raise them abroad because they believe that they have better life there. But, you know, statistics, if you look at statistics about Africans raising their children abroad, you know, you can say that there's some of them, like, that did well, like, let's say in sport or even in education. You know, there's few of them that are doing very well, that if you're an African parents to these children, you're going to be somehow happy because they have made it. Some of them have made, you know, a name for themselves, and they have made money as well. So, but when you look at the other side, you know, you see that there's lots of them in the Western world that are up to no good. You know what I mean? Like, you know, when you look at the situation in London, for instance, you know, you see a lot of knife crime, you know, and this happens always, you know, gang activities, you know, and this is within the black community. They kill each other, you know what I mean? They unalive each other, you know, like animals on the street, you know what I mean? And if I've seen a lot of parents, African parents, their children are no more, especially their male children, because they are here in abroad. I'm not saying, the another thing is that in Africa, we still have this kind of gang violence as well, like and people unalive in Africa as well. But when you look at the numbers, the numbers matters because the numbers in the Western world, they are high. So people might say, and another stuff, people are worried, especially this guy you heard his voice in this video. I think he's worried about, because anytime you raise your children abroad, you forget your link to Africa is already gone, it's closed. Because these people can never go back and live in Africa. You don't see them doing that. If maybe you find like maybe 0.5% of them, they might say, let me go Africa. Let me travel back to my father's home country and settle there. But it's just few people that's gonna do that. So which means that any connection you have in Africa, especially even if you have properties in Africa or land, anything, or your generational wealth, maybe in terms of land, your forefathers have lots of land, no one is gonna care about it. It's gone. That's it. And you, because your children are not gonna go back to Africa to get anything. It's maybe a stranger or your relatives will get that land when you pass away. And once that's your generation, once your wife and you pass away, that's it. That's it about you in Africa. Your history in Africa is gone. That's what I think this young man is worried about. And you can understand if you love Africa too much, you can understand the importance of raising your children there. I don't think he's saying like their children shouldn't come to abroad, but he's talking about raising them when they are a child. I think when they're grown up, like the guy saying this is in abroad as well. He's not like he's in Africa talking about it. He was abroad and maybe he's pissed off with what you see going on between the African diaspora children. He's not happy about it. And that's what is influencing his statement. You know what I mean? And he's using a strong statement to analyze that. You know what I mean? But so it's complicated. It's always complicated. Even some African men in diaspora with children, they would like to one day travel to Africa and stay there. And most of them knows that even if they're gonna go and live in Africa when they are old, their children are not gonna follow them. As somebody told me, somebody I met in London told me that he wanted to travel to Africa. He came abroad with his wife and children. I think he have all his children in abroad, and all of them are in England. And he said to the wife, "Look, we're getting old. I want to go back to Africa and live my life until I died. And let's go." And the wife said, "No, I'm not gonna go." And he said, the man told me, like, once they answer Miss London, some of these African women answer Miss London, they don't want to answer Miss Africa anymore. They want to stay there. What do you think? What do you expect from a woman? Like, they're gonna do stuff like that. Peace.